Tuia, uia. Tēnā koutou katoa I roto I tēnei pō. Kia ora everybody, Che Wilson here from Te Pai Pai Waho, connecting to you tonight through a number of platforms and sharing a special session, part 1 of 2, about Puanga. Mindful that there's a heap of kōrero out there at the moment on Matariki, and so just to share a bit about Puanga as well. But before we get into that, just a big mihi to everybody. I haven't finished the marae series, but because we've got Puanga Matariki coming up soon, I thought I'd best share at least 2 sessions on Puanga before we get into things. It's a little bit cold here tonight. And just trying to keep well, because, yeah, this weather's not very good. Well, no. Got some really good feedback about the marae series and was shocked actually about the feedback. So we'll keep doing those for a little bit longer. But this next fortnight, this is part 1 of 2 on Puanga. So e mihi ana kia koutou, tēnā koutou, kia ora tātou. E tangi ana ki o tātou mate, Uncle Andrew, a kua kaori tai a tina nā atu. E tangi atu ana ki a koe, kei te tuakana Evan, ko koe anō tērā, ki roto Ngāti Toa, kōrua koutou ki te pō. Ki te wānau pani, e aro atu ana, I roto I tēnei wā tēnā koutou. Kia ora ui tata. So let's get into it. I've decided to share a few slides just to share a bit more about Puanga. And so, Puanga is the star Rigel, and it's one of the closest stars, and it's a pretty big star too in the galaxy. And if you know Orion's belt, and you look at this picture here, you've got Orion's belt, which is Tautoru, and then the big star above it is Puanga. And you can see my cursor going around Puanga right now. And so Puanga, she's there above Tautoru, and as I said earlier, Rigel, and she is part of what's generally referred to as Te Waka Orangi. And Tara Mainuku is the captain of Te Waka Orangi. And there's a heap of kōrero already out there. But that's who Puanga is, and why is Puanga important to some people? I think the first thing I want to share is it's not a competition between Puanga and Matariki, and that's really important. But what is key is geography. And so from the west coast into the central volcanoes, and then as you follow the iwiroa of the fish from the Kaimanuas down to the Tararua, the impact of the westerly wind, the prevailing wind, on us means that we look to Puanga for a key read, because Matariki will only be able to give you so much. But by looking at Puanga from the end of May through to the beginning of, from Haratua through to the beginning of Pipiri right now, you're reading Rigel, and I'll give a bit more detail about that next week. The other point to note, which I want to share, is this kōrero about Puanga. And ka ua ngā pua koea ko Puanga, and my Uncle Tahu would often talk about this. And you can't see it in the screen because my mugshot's in the way. But basically, you do the read from Haratua from the big moon of Haratua to just before the big moon in Pipiri. You're watching Puanga, but also it's a bigger season for Puanga, basically where the first pua becomes a hua which is the middle, and then the end of the run of the piharo. And I can see Auntie Wise online. Tēnā koe, Auntie. And so what happens is the middle comes out, and at home we have roughly 3 months from May through to July. But with climate change, it's sometimes it's April where the berry comes out, and basically the kereru is fat now, and I saw some really fat kereru at Oparure in the weekend during the unveiling, and then again in Raglan too. So it's on the berry, and then when the piharo runs, then those are the 2 primary sources of protein that you're focused in on, which is why they are the 2 indicators for us, at least in Whanganui, around the importance of puanga and its connection to both the kereru or the kuku, and I'll talk about the kuku soon, or the taumata kuku, and the piharo. Others call the piharo kanakana, but it's piharo for us. The other thing is ko puanga te kairuri te tautauito. So puanga is the one who says farewell to the old year, and matariki is the one who opens the new year. And the kōrero I get this from, it actually says, ko puanga te kairuri te tautauito, ko matariki te kai uaki te kēti ki te tau o. And I like it because you can see that they're using a English concept, that matariki is the opener of the gate to the new year. But the reason why puanga is so important is simply because of the period of time you have to read it. And it's a longer period that you have to read it than the period of time you have to read matariki. And because of those prevailing westerlies for us on the West Coast, that's why it's important. And yes, there are a number of places where we can't see it. But more importantly, it's because of the reading and the ability to read. So there's 2 bits so far. Ko puanga te kairuri te tautauito, ko matariki te kai uaki te tau o. So puanga closes off the old year, matariki opens the new year. And the earlier saying, ka ua ngā pua koia ko puanga. So those are 2 whakatauki associated with puanga. And then the final bit is right now, te waka orangi is diving down, and as it's diving down over in the western sky, this is what's created outside my office door. And that was the beginning of last week, or might have been a week and a half ago. And so that's hine takuru up the top. But more importantly, tautoru in the middle, as my cursor's going around now. And then to the left is puanga, to the right is pūtara, koia te wetu o maru. And as the waka dives down, that's when matariki disappears. But what it does, as it dives down, it then creates a whare. And so you can see that hine takuru is the kōruru, puanga and pūtara or maru are the amo, and tautoru is the front po, it's the po kai āhua. And that whare roa, or the maru roa, is known as kuia popo. But it's also at this time that, like te kupenga o taramainuku, which we also refer to, but another phrase that we also use, and it's in Te Waiato Teriaki, Kātia Noai, which is a well-known waiata within Ronganui, is that te whata nā maru. And so that's when the mate are placed on the whata. And so when kuia popo is in position, they no longer go into the kupenga, they go to the whata, and then once the waka rises again, it's atutahi that then invokes the casting of the mate from the kupenga and the whata to become stars. But what's really important is we're in the phase of maru aonui, and maru aonui or aonui is what we've been seeing, those amazing red evening skies and red morning skies. And so maru aonui impacts on that. And nā maru aonui ka puta ko te kāhui ua. And that's key because that's what's been happening, massive rains in this maru aonui period. Just to wrap us up, is in approximately a week and 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks, this is what's going to happen. Is the waka is going to rise, and this is the waka rising above Ruapehu last year. We've got Puanga, we've got Matakaheru, Taumata Kuku, and the Kāhui Matariki, or the Hui Hui Matariki. So I'm going to talk more about this next week. But just wanted to give you a very basic overview. There are some references. There are some references if you want to have a look at more kōrero, and on Taringa, myself and Rangi Mātāmua shared some stories, shared some kōrero with Praone, and then myself, Ruakere Hond and Te Poihi Campbell also shared kōrero about Puanga on a Wakahuia doco about 2 years ago. So you can check those out, and hopefully that's helpful for you to better understand Puanga. I'll do one more sharing of Puanga next week. So ka te ake, e mihi ana kia koutou, o te rā ki tātou katoa, I roto I tēnei pō, take care, and yeah, rire hau, pai mārire.